This narrow stretch of water, the Strait of Hormuz, carries a significant portion of the world's oil. And when tensions rise here, fuel prices across the globe don't stay the same. But in space, could something similar exist? At first glance, the moon feels like a natural gatekeeper. Just 384,000 kilometers away, orbiting Earth like a silent guardian. But space is not like the ocean. There are no narrow lanes, no fixed routes. A spacecraft can travel in almost any direction. So the moon cannot block traffic, at least not in the way a strait can. And yet, it could still become something just as powerful. Not a barrier, but a point of control. So whoever controls it could influence how humanity moves beyond Earth. The space between Earth and the moon is called cislunar space. It sounds enormous, and it is. But here's the part most people don't realize. Not all of that space is equal. In space, the rules are written by gravity. There are certain points in space known as Lagrange points, places where the gravity of Earth and the moon balance perfectly. Two of them matter the most. One lies between Earth and the moon, another just beyond it. These are not just locations, they are gateways. If you want to travel efficiently, if you want to save fuel, your path naturally passes through them. And in space, the most efficient path becomes the most valuable one. So while space looks open, movement through it is not entirely free, because fuel is limited and changing course isn't easy, which means if someone controls these regions, they don't just watch traffic. They influence it, guide it, and if they choose, restrict it. But the real choke point may not be in space at all. It may be on the moon itself. At the poles, there are craters that never see sunlight. Inside them lies water ice. And in space, water is everything. It can be turned into oxygen, into hydrogen, into rocket fuel. That makes these locations the fuel stations of the future. Now imagine this. A nation builds infrastructure there, mining systems, fuel depots, launch facilities, and then declares a safety zone around it. Not a wall, not a blockade, but access becomes limited, difficult, expensive. Not a barrier you can see, but one you can feel. There's just one problem. Space isn't supposed to work this way. Under the Outer Space Treaty, no nation can claim ownership of the moon. It's meant to belong to all of humanity, which means no one is supposed to control it. But control doesn't always begin with ownership. Sometimes it begins with presence. Some strategists already describe the moon as the high ground of Earth, a position from which you can observe, track, and influence activity in space below. History has always followed the same pattern. Control the key routes, and you control the flow of power. The Strait of Hormuz, the Suez Canal, the South China Sea, each shaped the world, not because of their size, but because of their position. And in space, control doesn't always look like conflict. It can be quieter. surveillance systems tracking every movement, orbital paths becoming too risky to cross, even debris turning regions into no-go zones. Not a visible blockade, but an invisible one. So, can the moon be used as a blockade? Not in the way oceans are controlled, not with ships or walls, but through something far more subtle. Control of energy. Control of resources. Control of position. The moon may never block our path, but it could decide how easy that path is. And in the future of space, that might matter just as much. And sometimes, space doesn't just challenge access, it challenges survival. And as we start pushing deeper into space, the next step is already underway. NASA's Artemis mission will send humans around the moon once again, laying the groundwork for everything that comes next. If you want to understand where all of this is heading, watch that video next. And if you enjoyed this, like the video and subscribe to the Cosmos Quest for more stories hidden in space. Until next time, keep looking up and stay curious.